Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brett and I am a business strategist, a marketing consultant, overall lover of business in general, and I come here usually once a week to talk about business related topics. Today we are going to talk about how to know when your audience is ready to be sold to, and I know that's kind of a clunky title, but couldn't come up with anything better. So really this kind of came up because I was talking to a client of mine who had read some article about how she should launch a new product or service every 30 days. And I not only said that sounds absolutely exhausting, but I was like, who is writing this stuff? Because I think that it's so indicative of this kind of entrepreneurial environment that we're in right now, and that people want to be launching every month, which simply is, in my opinion, not realistic, but certainly, even if it's realistic, it's certainly not sustainable. So what I want to talk about is how to know when your audience is ready to be sold to, because I think that that is something that gets lost in this like launch first mentality. Is it's about your audience. It's not about you. You could have 150 products ready to launch, but if your audience doesn't want them, you're shit out of luck. So this is that's kind of the basis of where today's video came from, and I want to talk about how to know, because again, if your audience isn't ready to be sold to, don't waste your time developing a new product. Your audience will tell you. Here's kind of the bottom line. If you want to stop watching 2 minutes in, your audience will tell you when they're ready to buy things from you. The question is, and where people miss, is that most business owners aren't listening. So if you're in this mode of, I want to launch a new business or launch a new product or launch a new service every 45 days, every 6 months even, that's great, and it's doable. You could do it even sooner than that. But the key is your audience will tell you when they're ready to buy things from you. And so the most successful businesses, the most successful launches are, and I use the word launch a lot, and I hate the connotation that has become what a launch is, because there's so much information out there about launches, and again, that you can be doing them every month, but I'm gonna keep using the word, but you guys know what I mean. When I talk about launches, I mean strategically introducing a new product or service to a willing and primed audience. So the underlying concept is your audience is going to tell you when they're ready to buy from you. So what does that mean for you? You need to be in tune to that. And so that's really the biggest factor in determining whether a launch is going to go well or be a colossal failure. And this is coming from someone who has had both happen. I'll tell you about both. The biggest difference is being in tune with your audience, because they will tell you when they're ready to buy. They'll tell you what they want to buy. And it's your job, I would argue, as a business owner, your biggest job is being in tune with your audience. And I would also argue that 9 out of 10 business owners do a shit job at it. So here's how you can rectify that. So the first way to kind of be in tune with your audience is a really easy one, and it's on social media. And when I say easy, I mean it's out there for you to interact with. It is time consuming, so I know it's something that a lot of people kind of shy away from or outsource to someone like me. I manage a bunch of people's social media, but I interact on their behalf as well. So find ways to communicate with your audience on social media. And if you're considering launching a new product or launching a new service, start to put out feelers. You can, there's so many easy ways. This sounds so basic, but it's so true. Put out a poll on Instagram stories. Like, they literally have these tools built in to Instagram now. Put out a poll, put out, you can do polls on Facebook. Facebook groups are a great tool. If you find, and I'll talk about online forums in a second, but if you find a Facebook group that's chock full of like your prime audience, put out polls. So even without directly asking your audience, what types of products or services they're looking for, they're telling you already. Look in your comments. Look when you are promoting your existing products or services, what questions do they have? What is the next step? I like to think of, you've heard me use the kind of the trail of breadcrumbs metaphor before, in moving people from knowing that you exist to being interested in your product, to qualifying that it's the right product for them, to purchasing, like moving them one step at a time. But on social, you can do the same thing. Like you can look and see, okay, what questions do people have? What is the next step that they want to take? Above and beyond the trail of breadcrumbs idea, I really like to think about it is in terms of, okay, my product or services solves one problem, but no matter what, it creates another. Like, what is that secondary problem that your product creates, and how can you give them a solution to that, if that makes sense? So social media is a great listening tool. I also love looking at email analytics. I know this is like not the sexiest topic. I'm being very nerdy, but looking at email analytics, that emails are a great like sneaky way to test ideas, to like beta test. If you're thinking, okay, I have 3 products or services that I'm considering launching, let me put out articles about like those 3 different things and see which one my audience is interested in, which one gets the most clicks. Like that's so easy. And that will help make sure that if you're going to invest the time and money and energy and resources into developing and launching a new product, make sure that it's a success. So use your email analytics to understand what people are interested in. We talked about Facebook groups and other online forums. So this could be branching out from your current, like your immediate audience that is already in tune with you via your email list or your social followers. Find those online forums and say, okay, if people are using my product or a similar product or service, again, what's the next step? What are they looking for? This is where kind of they're called cottage industries kind of come off of. So like if a big disruptive service, let's talk about Uber. Big, huge, disruptive company enters the market. Now there are all these different other companies around Uber because they were like, okay, they found a problem that people had. So there are now companies that rent cars to Uber drivers. There are companies that like help Uber drivers market themselves. Like there are so many different other little cottage industries that came off of it. Instead of allowing that to happen to your own business, figure it out for yourself and use those as ideas to launch products. And that you'll be able to notice, okay, when, like if you're listening to your audience, you'll be able to know when they're ready for launch, when they start asking for those types of things. If you have a tech support aspect of your business, this is a gold mine in terms of listening to when your audience is ready to buy from you. Find those, the common problems, find the common complaints, find the common requests, and use that to your advantage. When you're listening correctly, when you are in tune with your audience, which we've talked about is your number one job, they will tell you what they want. All you have to do is listen. The last thing, and this is very radical, you guys, the last thing, and it's certainly not a comprehensive list, but I think it's a good one to get you started. The last way to be in tune with your audience is to have in-person conversations. I know. Totally crazy idea. Have in-person conversations with your clients, y'all. Even like for me, I talk to my clients all the time, but even if you sell a product, if you sell online, if you are a primarily remote business, have in-person conversations with your clients. And you can do this a few ways. You can reach out to key clients to film testimonials for you and have that be a way to reach out and kind of get their feedback. You can put together a focus group. I'm gonna, in one of my blog posts this month, I talk about how to launch a product to an existing audience, and we talk about focus groups and how to use those. Reach out, say, hey, we are doing an outreach program to all of our clients in the last year. We'd love to hear this, and this. Would you mind jumping on a 5-minute call with me? I'd love to hear your experience with the product. Like having in-person conversations with your audience, is going to go a long way towards understanding how they're using your product and what they're looking for next. You'll find, and I've found so many times, clients of mine, their products, like people will buy multiple things together. So for example, I worked with a company who made baby products, and they were finding that when their clients bought a particular item, they were more likely to buy this other blanket as well. Well, they didn't make that type of blanket. Once they realized that that's what their clients were buying, they started doing that. So think about ways that you can be in tune. It comes down to ego, right? If you are willing to listen and be in tune with your audience, then you have to be willing to let go of your ego. You can think, oh, this is the perfect next product to launch, but if your audience says no, they're not gonna buy it. And that's happened to me. When I first started my business, I was an idiot, and I launched a course. I have since relaunched it, and I've created the Side Hustle Starter Kit. But I launched a course like within, I don't know, a minute of starting my business. I had no audience, and I thought people were just gonna buy it. And that was my first little like learning, opportunity. That's what we call complete failures around here. First learning opportunity to understand that you have to prime your audience before you ever launch your product. Now, if you don't, you could get lucky and create a product that your audience is going to love. But if you want to, stack the deck to your advantage, being in tune with your audience is the most important thing. And the good news is that there are a gajillion ways for you to do that. All you have to do is put in the work and listen. And I would even build it into your processes, like once a month, look at your comments, look at your tech support, look at your email, look at your email statistics. Even if you're not in full-on development mode looking for something to launch, it's a good thing to monitor just to keep you in tune with what the people want. And again, that gives you the heads up and helps you stay ahead of the competition. If the last thing that you want is for someone to buy something from you and then go elsewhere for a complementary product or a follow-up product. It's so much easier to just develop that in-house and increase your sales in that way. So the answer to the question, when is your audience ready to be sold to, is different for everyone. But the good news is that they will tell you if you are in tune with them. And if you are, your launch will be that much more successful. So as always, if you have questions or want to talk more about launches and listening to your audience and developing new products or services, leave me a comment or shoot me a note. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would like it and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos usually every week, sometimes in batches, and always talking about promotions and marketing, advertising, business strategy, productivity, all kinds of good stuff to help you grow your business. So hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.